Thank you very much, Jason. I'm still riding that high from when he called me dreamy earlier. Really big fan of that. It's all in the ironing of the shirts, Blank.
Your shirt is wrinkled. It's more wrinkled than mine now. Come on. Sort it out. I'll see you in there, and you literally spend about half an hour on the ironing machine, and you don't do anything with it.
Yes, the ironing machine, the well-known device.
Yes. The ironing machine that I do not understand.
What is this?
Those are foul magics.
What is this witchcraft? that linen was creased, and now it is not.
Oh.
It appears before me as white as snow, as plain sheets, as Vikendi is loading on up.
I'll burn you at the stake on top of Mount Kresnik, innit?
Please don't.
I will.
I've got plans.
I've got plans, mate. I've got place to be.
Oh, dear.
Shut off, come on.
All right, well, first circle pops.
You've got places to be
going
in
to
game.
be Mashkova. Over out to the east. Dave, he's singing his heart out. Look at him. I can hear him all the way from America.
I can too.
What's that? What a circle.
What a circle!
Yeah, let's go. All right, well, we're going to have a little bit of an easterly rotation. Teams like Loops will be happy. A1 as well. They're slap bang in the middle of this one, so they'll be okay for now. Of course, the name of the game, get center, get early. It's Vikendi.
Exactly. Very nice. That's the tagline, I think, now, going forward. This is going to be an interesting game, mostly because I would like to see Loops do quite well from here. This time they don't have to move in. They have a chance on Vikendi to actually play that centralized type of, compound gameplay that they most thrive at during the game.
They have to get there early, though, and it's something that we've seen from them before on Vikendi is the inability to get central. And you were right in highlighting maybe from this position is different for them, right? Because they have that opportunity.
Yeah, Vikendi tends to be a map where they don't do as fantastically well, just purely because, after we deal out all the drop spots before the tournament begins.
It's true.
Look, sometimes you pick the short straw and you have to do the four-way split up in Cosmodrome. Loops picked that one. But this is their area. This is their space. So, honestly, this is where they're going to have to play. And it's okay. This way they can actually take a central position. Should be a better Vikendi game for them. I would like to see them start to solidify this position from that 4th to 6th position at the moment. I mean, getting towards Bigatron and 4 Angry Men at the moment is going to be a struggle. However, 4 Angry Men have certainly proved that it's not impossible. Ooh, okay, it's not happening. Bigatron and 4 Angry Men have certainly shown that it's not impossible, especially with 4 Angry Men's 98-game day from yesterday.
4 Angry Man's day.
4 Angry Mans. Where's your mans?
I mean, pretty good.
Where's your man's games?
They're all over the place, mate. They've got 98 points, which is bloody brilliant, I'd say.
Big time.
As things go, a repeat performance potentially on the cards after they performed pretty well in that last game as well. So we'll see if they can keep up pace and keep ahead of Bigatron. Currently, who are down in Winery, they're going to have to rotate probably through Hot Springs, which is actually quite a difficult crossing. This southern crossing, if there's teams around, is very, very treacherous, Blank. And it can be easy to get taken down.
Usually BTR are able to make this crossing fairly easy though. They're very good at just testing the waters in front of them, deciding how they want to get in. And they have to move through Hot Springs anyway, so it also makes sense in game. They go down to the Hot Springs, test the water, see how hot it is, and then if it's a little bit too hot, they wait it out before they head into the circle, try and take that edge position. With the 2K taking a knock on screen there from Power 888. Oh my lord.
Oh dear. All right, okay, an early clash, trying to get early center positions, and teams are throwing the bullets to try and lay claim to it. A1's waiting in the wings as well.
Yeah.
As Power 888 and Alpha 7, they've lost a player already. You can see them trying to bail out. Spots Sinister across the way and looks for the flush. They'll find out if that's another A1 player, and it won't be. 6ix9ine takes a tumble as well in the meantime. A1, oh, they lose yet another, and this is not great for any of these three teams, really.
For Power 888, it actually works out not so badly, to be honest with you. This is good for Power 888. They are going to start to move on in. Now A1 is damaged, as is Alpha 7, and they just want to pick up the scraps after this fight does conclude. Neither way, Power 888 can start to have very, very dominant position in the middle of this circle, getting rid of all the teams who have headed there in the beginning, which is so unlikely of Vikendi for us to see right now. If Alpha 7 go down and A1 go down, there will be literally one team in the center of the circle on Vikendi.
We're just about to break that 5-minute mark, Blank, so this is the time when teams will start to be mounting up. They've already looted and they should be ready to get gone. waiting for the teams out on the west to do that. That's specifically Execute, Classical Athletics over up towards Dobromesto and Krechas on the northern edge. And you've got Movatra currently occupied by Blue Bees, who went out west early on after the drop. They're all going to have quite a long rotation to make.
Blue Bees, I imagine this game will be considering how they would like to play this one out. Obviously, they've been struggling recently, crashing into teams a little bit too often. RRQ are going to quickly make the rotation across. In front of them, there is 4 angry men, however, so we'll have to be worried about that one. And they are just sending it to the middle of the zone. I love 4 angry men and how they go about this, but they are heading into Power AAA.
They're going straight for it. They're right in the same compound now. They're sailing past. They haven't scouted, but this blank is 4 players in a vehicle. This is what you hate to see, especially on Vikendi. If that vehicle goes up, it's death. It's immediately a squad wipe. They crash into a different compound, though, and they really had their wits about them. I think they must have got an inkling. I think they spotted potentially a vehicle, tire tracks in the snow that gave the game away in terms of their team being there.
It was a beautiful rotate, in my opinion, because they, swerve past the compound with 1 player leaning out the side, checking if there's any players within that compound itself. Once they see it, they know there's an instant hill that they can kind of ride down and go past the trees, making it much harder for teams to shoot them instantly into a secondary compound, which may not be as good as the one that Power AAA hold, but it is an option to them. So they're not just left high and dry. I love that this team has, in particular, options available to them, and that's what all teams need to be focusing on.
Bigotron lost a knock over towards Kanina Power. That's on the crossing on the south edge. We said it was going to be treacherous. It seems like Luxley will have taken a knee there. Godsent currently staking claim to a compound on the south side of the peloton in the middle of the Vikendi group right now. Secret Jin, though, maybe looking to pressure them out. Currently just spike damage going both ways.
Loop's actually in not the best of positions I expected them to be in. Obviously, they're quite central, but they're not as central as I expected them to be at this point in the game. They do control pretty much the northern side, though, and obviously ahead of them is A1, who have taken a few knocks of their own. As you can see on your screen there, A1 all the way on the cliff side. Power AAA, you can see them stocked up. They're ready to go. They're in a fantastic position going forward.
And you've got that 4-way split between those 4 teams right in the middle. I say right in the middle, not of this circle, but most likely the next circle. That should shift right on top of them. You've got on the northern edge Power AAA, you've got Alpha 7 on the eastern peak. You've got 4 angry men out to the west, and on the south, it's Nova XQF, who are going to be that sort of central blockade of teams that make it so difficult to move in closer.
Team Secret Jin. This is a team that's right on the edge side. See them do okay on that last match our angle. Again, this is a team that just likes to get those steady points in, and then they come out ablazing some of the games. Right now, they're in an okay spot to make it happen. Obviously, it's right on the southeast. They're going to have to kind of creep their way along the coastal cliffs if they want to make it further in this game. And Loops just pressing forward a little bit right now. A1 making their presence known, but there's only 2 of them. So they're going to have to be barking very loudly, pretending like they're a much bigger dog than they currently are.
A1, the team that lost 2 players early, with the rest of the games today, they have a chance to actually jump the other teams that will only have had 15 games played. So it's a very valuable set of games they have today. Currently sat down on 64 points, but Abrupt Slayers just above them, you can see 69 points. And then above that, Aerowolf Limax 87, 88 for Team Secret. Now, the average points per game for A1 is 5.8. That's mirrored by Aerowolf Limax, and obviously only very slightly higher for Team Secret. So a very, very good opportunity for them to try and push through and make a mark here. And from what we've seen, they've been having good days, so maybe they're going to be able to improve on that average as well.
And we've said this about A1 quite a lot, is that they're very willing to give ground, particularly because what they're playing for right now is consistency and the hope to get into the future Super Weekends going forward and just keep pumping up those numbers, which I think is a perfect strategy here in the PMGC, especially when you are towards the bottom of the tables right now. If you're 4 angry men, you're Bigotron, you have a big chance right now to go for that big money right at the top of the tables. For these teams at the bottom, your main priority right now should be getting to the PMGC finals themselves. You do not want to be losing out, being in that bottom 8 team spot that will be cut before we head there. Because remember, we are leaving 8 teams behind, and that's not like a very. It's not a few amount of teams there. That's quite a big number that can still go. Yeah.
Execute is the team that is most at risk in my mind, right? They are currently sat on 26 games played. They're playing in this Super Weekend, but they have a 3.7 average per game score. That is the lowest of any team in the Super Weekends tables right now, blank, which means that the only reason they're sat up in 13th on 97 points is just through sheer volume of games. But what that also demonstrates is the value of qualifying for all of the Super Weekends. If they can qualify for every single Super Weekend, even if they're only getting 3.7, they should be able to see themselves through to that global finals. However, not in the best of light, right? If you're looking at who's going to be able to take top spots there, it's not really that they're going to be on the conversation if they only get through sheer volume of games played.
Yes. Again, we have to reiterate though, this is the PMGC. This is the PUBG Mobile Global Championships. This is the top of the iceberg right now that we are at. Anyone who's here has to be proud of themselves. You're playing against some of the most ridiculously talented players in the world. Some players that have been around for, God, a long, long time. Okay, even if you make it to that top 16, you are doing a really good job. And like you say, John, if they can still continue to eke out those points, get in those Super Weekends, continue to maintain their position towards the bottom of that top 16, make it to the PMGC finals, you have time to figure things out, play some screens, practice, try and become the best of the best.
Not only that, it's money in the bank.
True.
You know, if you're able to qualify, that's another set of prize pool winnings you're going to be able to scoop on up for your team and yourself and bring that into the next season of PUBG Mobile games next year as well. Be great to see how they do progress, but this is the sort of time in Vikendi where everyone's sort of found their location that they're going to be playing from, and they're just biding their time. However, there are a couple of movements going on right now. Kanina Power specifically injecting into the south side along that road on the east coast. Secret Jin actually taking a fight with Godsent up the hill. This is right out on the coastline on the east side. And Navy on that outcrop, very isolated here, gets spotted out, gets pushed back, takes a tumble, takes the dip, and actually manages to find a ledge. Oh, laid bare in the open though with Zuku. There's no way you're getting away with that. That was probably the wrong decision to be making that rush right underneath the nose of the enemy team.
You know, the thing I love most about Secret Jin is that, yes, they are very, very calm, very passive team, but like a sprinter out of the gates, they are super explosive when it comes to these kind of fights. They will just begin them and just send it. We've seen it on endings where they dealt with Nova SUF into dealing with Power 888, I believe it was, to get the win there. It is some ridiculously good stuff from this team, and I think they are showing it right here. 2K going down, but immediately there's the off angle. See, everything's covered here, and Team Secret Jin, super tactical, super quick, like a SWAT team, just absolutely launching themselves into a building.
Yeah, it was an unexpected angle, so fair enough that 2K went down, but you're right, they absolutely picked up the pieces on the back of that unfortunate knock, and they'll be able to lay claim to the top of that cliff. They know that no one's really going to be pushing their A1, maybe looking to take a position, but they're only a duo, remember, so they're really not looking to take fights at this stage. We'll have to see what more they can do. Kanina Power did manage to make it all the way up to Peshkova. As the next circle pops, not really going to put pressure on anyone, but it's the teams on the edge, teams like Zeus, teams like Class Digital Athletics, who are going to want to try and swing around, maybe take some of these compounds in the area near Cosmodrome that is completely empty of teams right now.
All right, John, this northwest side, very, very clear. I mean, it's super open ground up here. Most teams understanding that, you know, they'd love to be around Peshkova, where there's a lot more compounds to be held. Power 888 obviously still holding down that fortress of a position around the center, but a huge amount of teams on this southern side. I'd say it's more than 2/3 of the lobby is down here on the south side of the circle. Football has managed to make their way onto that northern side of the circle, though, just underneath Trevno. This could be the game that footballers want.
Will they be able to convert, though? That's the thing. Will they be able to take those points, pop them in the pocket, and try and see themselves further up? Currently, they're sat in 11th place at the start of today. The start of this game. You can see the live rankings are maybe a little bit different for them, but they're down in 11th. 151 points total so far. And looking to try and capitalize. See themselves safe because they are actually quite a chunk ahead of Execute there, who are the lowest scoring 26 match team right now in the lobby. They're looking to change that though. Shots over to Class Digital Athletics, not quite able to land the shot. And actually, they lose a player in the process. RRQ have known their position now.
It's not a good time to be giving away your position either, especially when RRQ are so much further into the circle than you are. Again, Execute, maybe taking these fights a little bit too early on the edge, especially on Vikendi where you know there's going to be so many teams around you. We've had some interesting Vikendis before, especially that one where Footballers won the other day, or, you know, they were taking shots at absolutely everybody. So that game finished a lot quicker than we might have expected. On a typical Vikendi like this, you've got teams in every single compound around you, and you've got to always assume that there's at least 3 people looking you at any given moment.
I'm hoping that maybe Bigatron can have a decent showing in this game. They've been cut down now in the last, I think, 4 games or so that they've played. So hopefully they'll be able to have a little bit better of a shout, worthy of a team in that second spot. Remember, they had such a massive lead earlier on in this tournament, and that's just been cut down to size by a couple of games that have been unfortunate for them. So hopefully they're going to be able to find their footing. They are next to A1, so they haven't really listened to their coach yet again, but there is only a duo to worry about. It wasn't A1 who took them down last time, that has to be said. But Secret Jin right next to them. But Secret Jin is split, actually.
Yeah, Secret Jin, see GZ over on the north side of this circle, just right on that coast. Team, you're Secret Jin trying to make their way in. I mean, it's a difficult rotation here specifically. I think GZ just trying to relay as much information as possible. And I think as soon as you see some fighting between Bigatron, A1, Canadian Power, A1, Canadian Power, Bigatron, you'll see GZ relay that information across, tell the boys below to be like, look, come on up, and they need to go now, so Bigatron will have to move in, which will spark some kind of fighting over on this southeast side, which, like we can see here, should alleviate things a little bit for A1 to make Secret Jin to make this move.
This is the second game in a row where I've been very impressed by Classical Athletics' heads-up rotations now, Blank. I mean, we knew, obviously they took Potato Hill in the last game, unfortunately lost that fight with Nova XQF, but the idea was solid. Now they've gone to the northwestern side. Hang on a minute. 4 Angry Men fighting with RRQ. This is right on the southwestern edge. 4 Angry Men trying to crash onto the compound and taken 1, 2, 3 knocks now. Ernie goes down, and I think we're into a 1 versus 2 as Hasaki, last standing for the squad. Mike Ruzi over the banks of the snow, but it's RRQ to come out on top, and all 4 of them are alive. Can they get those reses in time before the Blue Bees catch up to their outpost Reiji?
Yeah, Reiji Osio obviously always scouting forward. This guy's such a nuisance for all these teams. He's providing so much information back to his own teammates time and again, but RRQ being able to finish that fight without taking a single loss in terms of members versus 4 AM is really big. It also shows me that RRQ is trying to be a little bit more aggressive now, taking position, and I love that. Too many times we've seen RRQ play the edge and play there for far too long, rather than being able to use that prowess they absolutely do have in the team.
I just checked my clock, Blank, and it seems like it's time for vengeance. A1 going down right now, being surrounded by Bigatron. As Jax soon to fall. Microboy has gone down, taken a knock there, but there's only one player now left standing. Dante hunkering down in a bathroom, trying to hide out or maybe get a kill if he's got his wits about him. Zuxi going for a little bit of a heal off. Zeus, though, putting some pressure onto Bigatron from the off angle, and Luxi will have to get that res out to the south. Zeus will have to move, however, and Zuxi wants to back up this res. Make sure they have all 4 alive. They don't want to go hunting before they're sure that they're secure.
Darth Dante obviously been able to just force push BTR away from this position for the time being, as he will just wait in the bathroom. Ooh. Seeing just the shoulder of Ryzen. He's unsure whether he should take these shots though.
Zuxi takes a little lick of damage from Zeus, but down the hill they go back to their compound, which is in the zone just about. They should be all right. It's early circles still, so the damage not going to be fatal. However, Dante just could be. I don't know if they think he's still in the compound. Microboy, oh no, he's caught healing. Dante with a Micro Z should be able to get the flush as well. Microboy goes down, gives the game away for Dante's position, but that's a point, and they'll take that where they can get it. Zuxi has not taken any chances. He's letting Ryzen hold the outside, waiting for that push, forces the engagement, but a knock comes back their way. Dante does take down Ryzen in the midst of it. A little bit more than they were bargaining for, and A1 still proving to be the Achilles heel for Bigatron.
Yeah, able to take down Microboy. It feels bad for Bigatron, to be quite honest with you. There's Nova XUF popping off in the distance versus Alpha 7. Obviously, they took a knock earlier on, but it's Power AAA now trying to get involved in this, but a little bit further into the circle. This circle heading all the way to the northeast is going to create such a huge amount of players just having to push through from this south side. But Blue Bees, again, Reiji Osio providing the information forward, knows that there's not should be many teams towards this this north side and head on up.
Nova XQF now taking the fight with RRQ. RRQ held the crash, but they go for a crasher themselves. And Coolboy holds the wall beautifully. G9 down, and it's just BR11 left alive. I think Coolboy has the bead on him, just spotted a helmet there. Looks for the flushes outside of the wall, confirming those points, confirming that score. G9 yet to be revived, but BR11 looks to go for the run. Pushes up along the wall, gets spotted. Oh, a lot of damage, but just about makes it up to that wall line. Goes for another heal. And G9 looking to get up as well.
Regardless of what happens here, John, Nova XQF have to make a decision. Do they hang around here, try and hold at RRQ, or do they try and get further into the circle? Power AAA has set up a blockade, holding them down with a 2-2 split currently. Coolboy obviously taking first shots from them. Grozer in hand from Powerboy immediately gets in the vehicle with Jimmy.
Trying to get away. They're just going to leave their down teammate. BR11 will get spotted. Hang on. Are they just going for the points? I think they just want to take the fight and confirm those kill points out in the circle. It's a bold play, but Nova XQF going to be the one to make it. No, they do change tack indeed. Paraboy and Jimmy sending out to join King in the circle. Execute taking a fight with, I believe that to be Class Digital Athletics on the western edge, but Power AAA still putting pressure on the teams out in the blue. Two of them are down. Alpha 7 though still have a player remaining. It's Law popping that first aid. Should be able to stay alive, but the rest of his teammates will be falling to the blue pretty soon. Stops playing on that edge. Will have to move soon enough, but has the time to regroup with the rest of his team. Ice is down, so he's the last player standing.
Coolboy will make an exit from the game, but like you said, great heads up play from King to actually get into the circle, provide a position that Paraboy as well as Jimmy could meet up with him. Good shots coming out from all these players who are in this lobby right now, taking down a lot of teams. Finally, RRQ go down. I love the fact that Nova XQF decided just to leave that fight behind. Too many times they've been so preoccupied, and Power AAA, they've taken the consequences for trying to hold the south side for too long. Loops, on the other hand, this is what we're talking right at the beginning of the game about, is that they had a great chance with the circle that was provided to them to find a decent compound within the circle. Currently, they're right on the southwest edge, but they do have a position to play from.
There's two edge compounds on this next circle, Blank. Loops and Secret Jin, who are on the eastern side. Again, just vibing right now. They're able to hold it down. They had that East Coast fight with Godsent. They were able to come out on top, so they've got kill points on board as well. Right now, Secret Jin looking to be very, very strong here. But you've got Bigatron to worry about pushing up from that south side if Kanina Power let them slip.
Yeah, Secret in the name, stealth in the game. Great stuff coming on from the coastal side to get into this position. They have obviously crate drop, 2-2 split, watching out over the road. They're going to just bide their time. Try and get as many knocks as possible. Bigatron in a rough spot right now, being held by Kanina Power. Kanina Power outside in the blue, this is very akin to the engagements we see between these teams on Sandhawk, and a lot of times both teams have kind of crippled themselves, essentially taking this fight for too long.
Bigatron closer to the circle, but under more pressure, I'd say. Kanina Power have the ridgeline to play and stay out the sightlines of Secret Jin. You can see they're moving up for them at the moment. Horizon through the window, looks for one. Rabdini goes low, but doesn't go down. The reload forced. Under the Dacia, can he hit the damage? Yes, he can. Able to find Rabdini, looks for Gonzo, gets it too. Two headshots, boom, boom. Horizon lays down the pain. Black-White trying to crawl up to the rest of them and looks for the confirms, actually spots Rabdini going out to the left in that smoke, but again, has to go for the reload and the blue zone starts to become a factor.
Stays peaceful though. Zen in his name there, trying to keep it calm, looking through that small window. Robdini will just be about picked up, and this is what I was talking about. Both teams kind of cause problems for one another. Nova XQF currently outside in the blue will just now go down to the play zone. Suxy spots out Secret Jin as they are trying to regroup. Oh, what a shift this one will be. Down to the southwest. Loops very, very happy with this one, but football is still in the game. We know how well they've done on Vikendi before. This is their game to take it. Blue Bees, also another team that we've talked about how dominant they can be in those final circles. Well, John, here they are.
This gives Bigatron a pretty clear decision to make as well, if they're able to stay alive, that is, because at the moment they're just getting bullied from every single side. Luxy lost standing from them, but if they can get themselves back up, they have to push through Kanina Power. They cannot swing out north. They know that they're there, and Loops are starting to challenge Kanina Power's position as they have to push as well. Gonzo, though, doesn't even care. He's just going to be like, oh, a player challenging us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Gonzo is honestly one of my favorite players coming out from Kanina Power. He just makes some very, very bold moves that you just don't expect from a team. I don't think even Federal expected it coming. Footballists will remove Bluebees from the equation. Now things get a lot easier to deal with. Secret Jin have moved down from the position on the northeast side during all this chaos, found their way to a loot drop, and should have a decent-ish position if they don't get rattled down by a few other teams.
Bigatron get eliminated. 9 points on the game for them, coming out in 5th place. They'll be stopped from moving any further forwards. Loops still in their compound, haven't quite left it yet. Secret Jin proactive, as you said, moving across the way underneath that cliff now. They've got some cover, and they've got a little bit of respite. 5 kills already found. They spotted out Soke, and that's an Orm. Lands the dome as well. There's no way you're surviving that. Lover's in very low as well.
Quickly, we'll go for the res there round behind this shack. And honestly, this is an important game for Footballists, 100%. I know they're currently down in 11th place, but we've seen how well they can do. They just need one confident game. If they get it in the second game of the day, they can start to pressure that advantage as we hit the next maps going forward. Kanina Power up against Secret Jin. GZ goes down, Axel with a sliver HP remaining.
Into the saddle, they ride on forwards. Cosmos now last standing for Secret Jin, but he's going to hold strong for now. Hits the deck, goes for the shots onto Axa, finds it, brings himself into 1 versus 1, but up the hill, Black-White gets the off angle. Might be able to get his teammates back up as well if Loops allow them to have that rest. Kayovsky may be looking out to try and push the angle, but potentially prioritizing getting into the zone. Secret Jin, they had a good proactive play, but they get shut down.
Now, here is the big fat question mark for Loops. Can they move from this position that they've held down all game into a better spot? We know this is something they struggle with. Let's see what they can do, as they've been really integrating that new player Golden into the team over the last couple of days and doing a fantastic job of it. But let's see if they can be fluid moving into this next circle. Footballists, they're just holding strong for the time being. Kanina Power moving over the top side. They have a crate in front of them, so they should be stocked up in terms of gear.
With that game as well, you saw on those live rankings on the right-hand side of your screen that Bigatron were able to leapfrog back into 1st place, but it's still very much anyone's game. Carrillo gets spotted, but Loverzin takes the majority of the damage there. Pretty much the only damage as well. 3 teams now riding into this next circle. Kanina Power on the eastern edge, but Loops make their break right now. Blank Kayovsky looking to push forward.
Good stuff from Footballists. They take a couple of shots from the side, though. It's great stuff from them, suppressing fire to allow them to get to the second rock. Nades are flying over the top, but Lutz hits a nasty one onto Carrillo. And now Kanina Power, they're also getting involved in the scenario.
That's a knock onto Loverzin. It's going.
That's a great nade.
It's going every which way. A great nade sent over the top, but Black-White eats one himself. Soke lands it. 3 players of Footballists. They have 4 total, but one of them knocked on the back. Loverzin did get flushed out, so they are down to 3. 3 ways, each of these teams.
Footballists is doing such a good job to fight 2 teams off at the same time. Great nades coming out from these guys, and now Loops down to just 1 player remaining. Gonzo trying to make this happen. 1 player back up on his feet from Kanina Power. Black-White just healing up, and it's round to try and take down these 3 players from the side. Footballists wish they could finish this fight as fast as possible.
8th circle, Blank, and they will be pushing forwards. Footballists very low, and it's Kanina Power. Again, the horses from